Hi everybody, it's day 9, and Coco is such a tame hamster that if you averagely tried to do this with, I'd say 80% of hamsters, even by 8 days or so after birth, they would probably want to take your hand clean off if they could. For her though, she's been super sweet, and I've actually been able to interact and touch the pups about consistently for about since day 6 now is when I was actually able to actually touch them. Though day 5 I had to touch them, but I was obviously afraid to, so I ended up pretty much rubbing my hands all through her entire nest until I finally got to her nest, in which case by that time my hands smelt like her nest, and her nest smelt like me, so honestly it didn't really affect her, and honestly I'm not entirely sure I needed to do that, but I did anyways, because one of the runts was so tiny that I could tell it was not getting hardly any milk, if any, because it was literally half the size of the other runts, which at the time were pretty tiny. And so I ended up taking that one out, and after about a day of giving it kitten milk, I tell you, hamsters, they grow at the speed of light. By the next day, that hamster pup had pretty much grown to be just about the size of his other runt brothers and sisters, which greatly surprised me, but I couldn't really find them, and I counted, and every single time that I've counted since day 4, I've counted 12. Only once did I count 13, but that was on day 8, and I honestly think it's because they were kind of squirming about, and because afterwards I counted 12 again, so one probably got counted twice, which is interesting. So obviously I didn't lose any, which is good. But yeah, that's what's always so interesting, is being able to actually pick them up by this age versus just petting them and getting used to being touched. So something tells me these hamsters are going to be my tamest ones yet, for being used to being handled from such a young age. It should just come naturally. So, but Coco's been pretty darn tame since the day I got her, though obviously she is my mother's hamster, because I like to say hamsters bond to a person, and even though I know that she loves me, she's definitely my mother's hamster. Whenever my mother comes in, she always wants to be held, always wants to be touched, always wants to be in her hand, and she's just you could tell that there's a different connection between her and me, and her and my mom. And we think it's because she was the one who rescued her. And honestly, when she got into a nice new, much bigger place with without having to share the room with other hamsters, and having plenty of good food and fresh water and nice bedding instead of pine shavings, she immediately calmed down and was completely content and was very love me even then. But for my mom, she just has that bond. Just like how I had that with Sarah. My mom has it with Coco. Even though she didn't hand raise her or anything like that, she's still her hamster. And I always refer to her as that. I'm just her loving care provider. So it's interesting that she lets me get around her nest, because she lets my mom do the same thing, which is very unusual to have a hamster that is so relaxed. But it just shows that everything doesn't frighten her, and she's just very happy with her surroundings. So, can't really go wrong with that. But that's going to be the end of this video, since now you've actually been able to see what a really tame hamster is like, since it's not often you get to see a hamster this sweet. So, toodles everyone.